Welcome. This is our fifth public Q&A forum. We're glad to see you all came out and braved the rain. So we were hoping that it would stop by this time, but it looks like it's cooperating. That should be easier going home than coming. So we want to thank Fossil, our Friends of Samuel's Library, for their water donation and their ushering at the door. If you have any questions or need anything, they're at the doors ready to talk to. So let's get started. I don't have a whole lot of the things prepared tonight because tonight is all about emailing questions. We want to jump right in and I know with there are things that you will want to ask. This is we're not going to be talking politics. We can't do that as well probably. We can advocate, but we can't get into the finer details, but we know that you're fully capable of doing all that research and figuring all that on your own. So tonight, we're going to start with, here's our agenda. We're going to talk about an annual report by Karen. What a wonderful year we had. She's going to fill you in on all the details. I'd like to introduce you to our board of trustees. We have two new board members that joined us in July. Our treasurer is going to give you our financial picture. And then we're going to talk a little bit about ethics and those words that keep getting thrown around like transparency and accountability. And we'll finish up with what it means to be a good leader and get you out there voting. So I'm going to turn it over to Aaron, our library. It's good to be good. Yeah. Right. The Warren circuits, I got on that one here. Thank you. That's awesome. So good. Yeah. Ready? All right. I'm going to try not to go too long with this just because it's kind of hard to really capture in a small amount of time exactly all the things we've done at Samuel's in the last year in its entirety. So the statistics I'm going to show are for the entire this past fiscal year. So we do July 1 going into June 30th, and then I have 6 months worth of all the good things we're doing at the library. So, of course, Samuel's Public Library, we bring people, information, ideas together to enrich lives and build community. This past fiscal year, we've had a total of 13,983 patrons, and that's 2,014 new cards that we've given out into the community over the last year, which is pretty good. We also had 46,645 questions to answer. Questions meaning every time you come into the library and ask us a question, whether it is, can you help me find this book? Or is there anything that you recommend? How do I access this database? Where do I go to find this information? We keep track of all of that to make sure that we're providing the best service possible and just see how much of our service and our help is being used. Most people still don't know that we are a major place to get anything notarized. We can't just offer basic notary services, but we've seen a major increase in the amount of use of that service. We have about 563 documents signed throughout the year. So if you know of anybody who needs that done, please let them know. You can come to the library and do that. Programs, we've had an explosion with that. 925 programs the last fiscal year. Part of that is for youth services did an amazing job during our summer reading program, which we'll get into a little bit later. They had a lot of fantastic programs, brought in a lot of people. But also with if everybody is on that Backup Studio 330, that is our makerspace memory lab that just started in October. We have the staff have been amazing, finding volunteers and other performers to come in to do different workshops and provide different programs on crafting, but as well as just use of the memory lab, getting their documents digitized. And that's ended up being 20,894 attendees for all those programs. And then besides just attending programs, actual people walking through our door was 132,715. That's about as close as we can get to an accurate statistics for people walking through our door. And this is a good look at how how much the library itself is hitting use. Total checkouts over 400,000, which is pretty on par with what we had last year. We'll be looking into new ways to get that number up for this coming fiscal year. And then last but not least, our amazing volunteers. We had 12,130 volunteer hours this fiscal year, which is amazing. I can't talk about our volunteers enough. They do so much for us. We wouldn't be here without them. So I'm going to show you what that looks like as far as comparison to the last fiscal year, which would be FY24. Of course, circulation, you're right on par for the most part. That's a 3% increase. You can see in our reference questions, database use, I didn't show that one, 18% increase. Most people don't realize there's tons of databases you can access with your library card. We're not just books, we are so much more than that. Our databases, a lot of them we get through the Library of Virginia through our state aid. These are things like being able to get tutoring help for your kids, as well as veterans resources, getting you connected with somebody that can help get you connected to library with that, as well as job development, anything from continuing education that you need through your business or your employer, to transparent language, which is just you can learn different languages like over 120 different ones you can learn. So there's a lot that we offer with your library card. Traffic, that was a 4% increase, more people walking through the doors. And like I said, with the programs, we really stepped it up as a 71% increase from last year and 7% increase in our attendance. Right on par with that, the meeting room, 6% increase in use of what this room right here that you, anybody, if you're nonprofit, even businesses, we do have a charge for that, but you can come in and reserve space, it's available on our calendar. And of course, volunteer hours, that was 37% increase. Great general updates. Again, we had so much going on. We did a lot of fundraising activities. We had our fourth annual puzzle contest at each end of the year. I want to give a big shout out, quite a favorite to our partner on that. Made about $925. Like a lot of fun. I recommend keeping an eye out because we will be trying to do that again this year. We had about 24 different teams, and we tried to make it fun so that if you pay a little bit extra, you could penalize another team by making them wear mittens. So, we'll be thinking about the right hits. And then going into February, we have our annual day of giving. We'll be doing that again this year. It's more of a social media campaign, but we did have two amazing matching donations with a goal of raising $6,500. We actually exceeded that by about 1,000, so we made a total of $20,650. So we'll be hoping to see if we can't increase that again for next year. For the facility, we've been trying to keep everything in senior working condition. So some of the things we've been trying to keep up with is repair work on our roof. Occasionally we could get some leaks, so we've been working on that, as well as you'll notice we got the parking lot repaved, thankfully. Pre-painted. So it's looking great, and that's good. Thanks to our maintenance team, they've been fantastic. Outreach, any chance we get, I know there's a lot going in the community. We try and get when we have staff available to go out to the different community events. This past 6 months, starting ending in June 30th, two big ones that we did was Free Comic Book Day. That's a great thing that we team up with Main Street Geek on Main Street, since it's a literacy program. How much is what got me about to get? So it's a great chance to go and get free comics and just celebrate reading. And then of course, Juneteenth was also an event you were able to go down and hopefully be able to do again next year. And in June also, if you haven't had a chance to check it out in our children's garden, we now have a peaceful that was brought to us by Rotary Club of Warren County. They helped us get that installed and actually got a peaceful. And it basically has a little piece singing, in 4 different languages around it. And get really great dedication ceremony for that. And of course, the studio, which I've kind of already talked about, it's been doing absolutely fantastic. We now have walk-in hours on the Thursdays, noon through 4 p.m. So if there's anything you're not sure about, you just want a tour or you just want to try something out, feel free to come in during those times, and there will be a staff member there available to just kind of walk you through some things or get you kind of think about what you might want to try out anything from sewing or the memory lab. So if you have documents you're missing, it's of that nature. We also have appointments available, but that is subject to availability of staff member or volunteer has the time to come in and do one-on-one help with you. The programs. And again, this is just a snapshot. We did so many. Winter reading, we have 2 reading literacy programs that we do every year. Winter reading, summer reading. Winter tends to be on our smaller side, but we do it during January and March, or really January through February. It's for innocent kids, most of the kids, but it helps you guys get to have fun too. So there's like lots of fun prize activities. Sam have a lot of fun trying to put those together. So the more you read, the more chances you have to win prizes. This program was Blizzard Books. So for the kids, they had stuff ranging from STEM programs and snowflakes. Thinking for a program that was Blizzard's theme. The studio did Valentine's Day card making, craft programs, and many, many more. Of course, we have statistics there. Trying to cool. Going into March and April, again, snapshot of just programs. The Sheriff's Department has been amazing. The sheriff comes in occasionally to do story times that are very popular. We reach about 30 kids or so every time. It's been a blast. We absolutely love having them come in. And any of our community partners, we wouldn't be able to provide the amount of programs that we do if it wasn't for that, for their expertise. Another one of those partnerships, we work with Virginia Works, is doing a job fair every other month or so to provide opportunities for people to come in if they're looking for employment. They also have workshops and things like that for job development, which is a big boom because our staff is fantastic. We can give people help and serve it with that. For anything more in depth, they're a great resource to help. They go that little extra money. For the studio, we are also starting doing a craft swap, so keep an eye out for that for next year as well. That's where, if leading up to that event, if you have anything you're trying to get rid of, bringing to the library, we'll pretty much take anything. And during that day, it's a chance for you to come in and find out if there's anything else you like. And then we also had 2 other really awesome ones. One towards St. Patrick's Day with one of our local authors, John Marchner, did a learning the Irish language 101, which was great. Hoping to do something like that again next year. And then one of my personal favorites, the Bigfoot Experience. So we had a Bigfoot cryptid program as well. That was pretty popular. It's the second time we had this gentleman back, and it was a lot of fun. And this one you've heard a lot. So in April, we do our Taste for Books event. This is our annual fundraiser. This was the biggest and best one we had done yet. We had over 21 table hosts. These are businesses and other local organizations in the community that have tables that everybody can go around and learn about what they're doing. We had well over 300 tickets sold. I know we had more than that in the building, and people had to find very interesting ways to park. So, good problem to have. But the best part was we did raise over $35,000. And we are hoping to be able to top that next year. Summer reading, it's like winter reading, of course, but we try and do bigger and better. So we do that between June and really Jan or July, but it kind of goes a little bit into August. This year's theme was Heller on Marine. So we had a huge kickoff event, Alice in Wonderland Carnival with a performance by the Brightstone Theater. Over 300 people came to that one. And then, of course, we have programs going throughout the summer. This was actually the most we've ever done. Adults had topped at 194 registered. Kids was 727. And we kind of mixed it up between books read and minutes. So 31,282 just for the kids' books, and well over 400,000 minutes read, which is years and years and years worth of reading. So. And the last bit of programs just to bring up the rest of the fiscal year. Part of summer reading, we do a tiny art show. This was the 4th annual one, and we're doing it again next year. And it just keeps getting bigger, and it just even better. So tiny art is you just come in, get a kit, you do an artwork of any kind, form leaves about 4 inches. And we will show it in the library throughout the month of July. We had over 283 kits that were picked up and pretty much close to so 236 actual pieces in the show. And like I said, we have that up all month long so people can come in and enjoy what others are doing. And then for some of the kids programs, we had a reptile show because kids love reptiles and they love to be able to wrap giant snake over their shoulders. So that always brings in everybody. So and we're hoping to have more of those animal programs into the future. And just a couple other programs, you had a drum show from the kids as well. And adults line dancing. that was surprisingly very popular, and we're going to be doing more of those in the future as well. So, and these, again, this is just a snapshot. So if there's anything else people are interested in seeing, please let us know. We do have a suggestions box out front, or even just shoot any of the reference desks or emails. We love to be able to hear from the community on what you're interested in seeing. And that's not just with the programs, any of the services you might think of, our collection. We want to be able to give the best and best of pretty much all of our resources to Warren County. Okay, and that's it. I know I went through that really fast. I apologize, but we've been good.
It's good.
Now for a little bit of interactive site. Another fun. I get that it's very nice to play. I get to help think of games for Taste for Books, and if you don't get to come to Taste for Books, you can participate in this game. I never has a penny. They get to your persons and your partners to see if you have a penny. This game is called In for a Pound, In for a Penny. I'm gonna go giant. You got it today. Keep your phone so I don't keep. All right, 10 questions and then handle pens. So the game goes, I'm going to ask you what you know about the library, and if you already know it, I will give you a penny. If you don't know it, you give me a penny. Because the library is showing for every penny in the All right, who likes to go out into into nature? Who enjoys nature? Okay. You're explaining up this. Fine with that. How about that? Silverch. There we go. Aaron's going to be the deliverer. Do you know where are you going? Like Jersey. I think this lady right here. Okay. Right there. Okay. Do you know that the library, you can check out state park backpacks complete with free entry and parking passes to all Virginia state parks, complete with maps, magnifying glass, nature books, etc. Did you know that? Okay. So you don't have to even yes. You said eat that. All right. Who has a cheating rights internet or laptops at home? All right, right there. That's right. Do you know that you can check out a laptop, or you can check out a hotspot, or both, for free at your local library? Yes, I do. Okay. Does anybody belong to an HOA? Non-profit church group? Republican parties, Democratic party? Okay. Wait, say that it's all right there. Do you know that you can rent a meeting room, a study room, for free at your local library? I did it. You do. That's good. You're right. Okay. And you listen to him. Talk that you. Okay. Very nice. Who owns a mobile phone? Yes. I don't know. But hold the hands up. Sometimes do. Maybe a little. It's just a bit. Okay. Please. Do you know that while you're in the library, you can charge your mobile phone, no matter what type of phone it is, at one of our charging stations?
I did not know that.
Yes. Somebody keeping track of what that means for with you. And if you need help with any of the technological devices that you own, you can come to What the Tech and get a one-on-one help session with Miss Sydney back there is one of our tech volunteer helpers.
I did that.
Oh, you knew? That's a question. I need that. Okay. How about music? Who likes to download music? There's all this man. Did you know that the library has a program called Freedom? It looks like Free Down, where you can download music 3 songs a week for free from your local libraries. I did not know that. I never did that before. You just wear yellow suits every day. They don't disappear like an ebook. They're yours to keep. They don't disappear like an ebook. They're yours to keep. So by after 52 weeks, you would have quite a playlist of 156 songs. What? I feel like that. You can still stream, but it's very nice to be able to own your own songs. And can be who likes to read magazines? Let's try Kara over here. When you carry Kelly, you say that all the time. It was not this one. It's been COVID, funny. I don't know. Just make me jealous that you went on a trip, funny. Okay. If you're buying magazines or you're a crafter, do you know that you can go onto Magster? GSZTER and look at magazines for free from your local library database. I love it. See what everyone's finding. Learn so many more things at the library than you've ever imagined. So who has children? Don. Who's got children, grandchildren? I don't even want to that's their probably didn't have no cat. Yeah. We're putting in 4 weeks. Did you know that you can check out board games before you buy them and try them? Along with DVDs, video games, everything that's popcorn for a family for the night. Yeah. We have a wide variety of board games, and again, Play Favorites is one of our sponsors. And if you're checking out a board game before you decide to buy it and want to see if that's, the family loves it, you can come and check out a free board game. Okay. Somebody out there has the grandparents or parents that you would like to hear their voice in the future. We'll take this video right here. Did you know that the library has a sound booth and with all the equipment that you can bring your parents, which in this case, that's me. We're very transparent here. You can bring your parent, grandparent in and capture their voices for the future. Or you can do a podcast, new career. In the library sound booth for free at your local library. Capture those sounds because there's not my dad was a pianist. There's nothing I would treasure more at this point in my life than if I had captured my dad playing piano on tape. So think about all those voices. Your voice, what it would mean to your grandkids, to your kids, and stories. Stories, yeah. What are the stories? What do they work? How many times have they said to me, I didn't know you did that. I'm like, well, we did have a black speaker. How much would that takes with him? So you go. I did not know that. Okay. I did it. Okay. And who's doing Ancestry? I think so. Spooky Goose hasn't. Somebody in the back. Yes. Do you know for free you can do Ancestry.com? You can do Heritage Quest. You can do That Now and look up your veterans in your family. Fold3 and Newspaper.com. All for free. You come in and you can try to dive deep into your family's history. I do that posts of the library, which is a lot of words. Genealogy, yes, okay. The last one is we'll just say, who knows about notary services for your documents? I know, everybody. Yeah, you didn't know, the library offers free notary services. So come in and get your documents notarized. You don't have to spend money, just come in and sign this information us. So September is Get Your Library Card Month. So now you have 10 reasons why, in addition to everything Aaron just told you about, all the services, reasons to come in and get your library card. So thank you for those of you who are thinking, well,
Thanks.
yes, nothing like that. Yes, they're going to be watching there. Okay, and I would like to introduce our Vice President of our Board of Trustees, Scott Jenkins. He's going to talk about something really exciting that just happened this early.
I get to talk about good news. You know that last year, about this time, we were announcing that it was one of the libraries being designated as the Library of the Year by the Virginia Library Association for 2024. This year's award is being announced now. There's going to be a recognition ceremony and banquet coming up in October. And we have 2 awards we won. So I get to announce those. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Supporters of Professional Associators Award, which goes to our Director of Operations at UD. I'm going to read a little bit, and then I'm going to comment.
Let's go. I'm afraid of the comments.
You know, I got the award last year, and I've been able to work with a great and 10 staff for about 15 months now. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eileen began her professional life in the airline industry. She was an auditor and then in a managerial role with American Airlines, focusing on revenue and salary. She came back to Cheyenne Valley, Stagler, and she started working for Samuel's Public Library, first as a business manager. And then in 2008 and 2009, she served as the library's coordinator for construction of this building, this facility, working closely with county officials to oversee the construction of the building, get it ready, and staying with transition into this, at that time, brand new county-owned building. That was a huge effort. That was in addition to the other work that she was doing for the library. So it's doing low beauty. That was a huge thing for Cedar. And as the library grew, the responsibilities started. And she became responsible for all of the accounting, the annual audits, facilities maintenance, oversight of circulation, and anything related to IT. Although she's not the IT specialist, she knows how to ask good questions. I mean, they manage things. So that's essential. With those expanded responsibilities came a new title, Director of Operations. He's been with Samuel's for over 22 years now. Okay. And during that time, 3 different times as we transitioned into bringing a new library director on board. Eileen served in an interim role as the interim director to smooth those transitions and help the incoming new director get up to speed. And that's a difficult position, sometimes requiring a lot of patience. So as the new person coming in is getting up to speed. So thank you for that.
You know how much I know of that.
Oh, you have more than you admit. But Eileen's exceptional dedication and contributions to Sanders Public Library over her tenure have significantly enhanced the library's impact on the community and its staff. She's been an integral leader in the library, advocating for the staff and for development opportunities. She has encouraged excellence in customer service, and in library operations, but to elevate it up to the level of quality that we have now with dedicated staff and engaged patrons and volunteers. She consistently sets high standards and empowers the team to grow and to excel as professionals. And from my experience interacting with her for the last 15 months, I can tell you that Eileen serves as the glue that holds the operations together. You know, she knows that, and she has the history and the context, and she doesn't just keep that to herself. She shares that and helps other people to get up to speed and understand, and that's a huge benefit to all of us. She looks for ways to make our operations more effective, more efficient, more consistent, so that we can together, staff, the trustees, and the volunteers, do a better job of delivering the outstanding experience we have with topic. And it's clear that her heart and focus are both on keeping this library vibrant and alive for generations. So Eileen, we thank you for everything that you've done for the library and our community, and congratulations on this much deserved recognition.
So please put me. You guys. Into the.
Next thing I want to talk about is Samuel Public Library received an advocacy award. Advocacy is doing things like this meeting today. We were recognized as for the fiscal year 25-26 for outstanding advocacy. And I'll read a little bit here from the Virginia Library Association's comments. San Diego Public Library, with professionalism and resilience, has been defying the odds of the national wave of book ban challenges that threaten many libraries with defunding inquiry. San Diego Public Library is an exemplary candidate for the Advocacy Award as it has chosen courage and perseverance and continues to be a beacon of knowledge and light through the unprecedented surge of book bans that have targeted libraries for offering inclusive selections of books with diverse representations. San Diego Public Library is proof that libraries and other educational institutions targeted by book bans can persevere through these challenging times and advocate for a better future where all knowledge and information is accessible to everyone. I think that's pretty powerful.
That's me, yes.
And you can look back to Aaron's summary, and you can see that we're not just advocating, we're delivering service in 10 years. It's crazy. Over 900 programs in 1 year. And we're averaging, and that's just 3 per day. We're all fine. It's incredible. And that's because of the staff, volunteers, patrons, business sponsors, all working together. But Samuel's Library has remained firm in its stance, protecting your First Amendment rights and the right to read for all community members. In response to Warren County Board of Supervisors' actions, the Board of Trustees for St. Emilion has held several public forums like this, 5 nights, to address the misinformation that some had put out there, and to engage with the community, listening. When you listen and respond and look for guidance and improvements, and ensuring transparency about operations and finances. Additionally, your library has issued press releases. We participated in community news platforms. We've held a Ladies' Silver Tea to recognize our library's legacy of resilience and to celebrate the library's longstanding foundation of patron support that things tackle the good against. So long time. We've repeatedly reached out to the Warren County elected officials to seek a way forward to renew the public-private partnership that we've been hugely successful over the past several decades. Now, something that's not up here, and I also want to acknowledge that we were recognized as the 2024 Library of the Year. That recognition rotates to various libraries that demonstrate excellence. And I'm really pleased to report that our neighbor just down the highway, Massanutten Regional Library was designated the 2025 Library of the Year. And so I'll tell you a little bit about Massanutten Regional Library. They were founded in 1928. They're not quite as old as we are, but they're almost 100 years. They have 7 branches in Bridgewater, Broadway, Elkton, Rawlings, Harrisonburg, Loretto, and Shenandoah. They're a public-private partnership, just like we are. 501c3, just like we are.
Jesus, libraries did that in Virginia.
It's a collaboration between the city of Harrisonburg, Rockingham County, and Pagetown. Their neighbors just to the south. Bradley recognized for excellence. They do that 501c3 public-private partnership model works. And they have movies. So we want to congratulate them on their recognition. And also, looking out into how they operate and what their values are, there's a lot of common ground between Samuels and Bastock. You look at their values and their mission statement, and there's a lot of similarity in terms of making sure that they're addressing community needs, the entire community, protecting First Amendment rights and intellectual freedom. So it's really noteworthy to point out that alignment. And being innovative, they don't have Studio 330. I don't know of anybody who has what we have, Studio 330 next to the Logan Ring. But that's a good example of how we've been innovative in our model and our example that we set helps other libraries pick up on those types of programs. And it can inspire them to perhaps follow suit with that kind of program on for makerspace. So that's a new innovation. We're pushing the envelope for the libraries in our part of the Commonwealth. Having a program like that. So we should do that. So we're going to contrast some of the comments and some of the images that have been portrayed by some people trying to detract from what we do. We've been portrayed by some as out of control, ungovernable, unaccountable. Samuel Library actuality is a vibrant beacon of knowledge and light. That's a quote taken from one of the VIA recognitions. And we take it seriously with our mission to bring people, information, and ideas together to enrich lives and build community. And delivering on this mission, Samuels maintains an open transparency through operations and finance. And we do that by complying with all legally required oversight, timely reports, which we also post online on the website. Maintaining an active governance structure that reflects the diverse composition of our community population. You look at our board of trustees and it reflects engagement from all of the magisterial districts. And they have a lot of different backgrounds, professional backgrounds, different interests, different life experiences to make us from a strong active and vibrant board. We complete annual audits on time. And we always have. And we ensure that our fiscal policies and procedures support public accountability. Transparency. Publish minutes to all of our board meetings. We comment, and we answer questions. If anybody ever has a question they have about how the library is operating, all to do is engage us and ask. We happily sit down and talk. So, a little bit also the topic of BLA awards there, but I wanted to look at Massanutten Regional Library and compare them with what we're doing. There's a lot of similarities, a lot of good work there. And I think we should be very proud of what we've accomplished, proud of our staff and our program delivery. I look forward to another great year. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, here. We go in early October to pick up our plaques and get out into the wall. Oh, we have it over these.
Sure.
Just one more thing for you all to be proud of. Our board of trustees have quite a lot of material. You got Scott, I'm Melody Hotep, for those who don't know me. Over in the far end, if you want to stand up, is the biggest cloud. On our website, you'll find a bio and photograph of each and every one of our trustees and the district that they are representing. New to our board is Karen Battle. I'm going to ask her to come up and introduce herself. Yeah. And take the time. And then we'll get to when I'll finish off with here's Madeline Hickley. Just like that. On the far right is Joan Richardson.
Sure.
Bye. Plain face. Lori Jordan. Gene's going to come up and introduce himself to Karen, and then Michelle Lecture. We have a few that couldn't be here tonight, and but you'll find the full. We are allowed to have between 9 and 15 board members, and so right now we're at 14, and a few that will be coming off in July. So we'll begin the new process starting in January, February for looking for the board members. But right now we have 2 board members who started in July, and so let's just give you a little heads up about her background. Good evening, thank you. So 2 months in, it's been a busy time already. I won't take up too much time because, as Melanie mentioned, our bios are on the website. But I graduated at Northeastern University in Boston after attending high school in Northern Virginia. And my first career was in criminal justice. I was the probation and parole officer for the Commonwealth of Virginia and Arlington County for about 14 years for adult offenders. And then I became the director of the Victim Witness Program in the Office of the Commonwealth's Attorney for Arlington County. Mouthful. I took a bit of a detour from criminal justice after the first 20 years and worked for Custom Home Builder in Fauquier County. After that time, I went back to public service and working for local government for the city of Falls Church, and that was in 2008. So there I worked with collector rights management for the Department of Public Works. And I still work remotely, just 1 day a week now. I'm about to fully retire in December, so looking forward to that. Need a little more time to devote to library stuff. I built my house in Warren County, down on Mountain Road about 5 years ago now, and still learning a lot about the community and about my library as well. I really wanted to do something that I felt was meaningful in this community, to the community, and became interested in joining the Board of Trustees. And I do a lot of creative things. I do a little woodworking. I do a maker night for the women in my neighborhood once a month. I just enjoy creative, artistic stuff as well. So thank you, and again, I do feel honored to be part of this wonderful board.
Well, you all that don't know who I am, my name is Gene Killedy. And I'm a Holy Grail, Warren County, Port Royal resident. I attended Warren County High School. If any of you have any age on you, you know about when Warren County had a winning football team. So, you know, that I played football for Warren County. I used to be a kicker. I was one of the last, what they call the last iron men. I kicked extra points, kicked field goals, played offense, played defense. And that gave me a little bit of a good chance of getting a scholarship to Howard University in Washington, D.C. While at Howard, I was able to obtain a college degree through playing football because they paid for everything. And all I had to do was make sure that I kept the grades up. And I had a father that made sure I kept my grades up.
You know.
I'm the new kid on the block for the library board of trustees. And my career has spanned over 40 plus years. When I talk to individuals, a lot of people think that I learn about some things, but if you work for 40 years, you've done a lot.
They sit down.
My first employment out of college was with General Motors up in Warren, Ohio. I was a production supervisor up there. After working for General Motors, I wanted to change my career because my degree was in business management, but I also had a major in civil engineering and mathematics and management. So I decided to change careers. I went into computer programming. So I worked for J.C. Penney's and AT&T. I guess for around 15 years. So that was a change in my career. And plus I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, which was really nice state. So I'm grateful for being asked to serve on the board of trustees for the Samuels Public Library because I believe that I have developed some skills over the years that I could bring some value to the board. And what I'd like to get out of the board is for Aaron to teach me how to speak. You know, because for some reason, I'm just a little slow and deliberate. So I hope to be around for a while, and I hope that I can add value to the board of trustees. Thank you all.
The gaps. I encourage you to go onto the website and look at the award bios. This is an incredible award, and I'm extremely honored to be working with them these past 3-4 years that I've been with the board. Each and every one of them has so much to bring and are helping to guide this library in such a good direction, which is reflected in our performance segments that you can see that Aaron showed it earlier. Moving on, we're gonna talk a little bit about finances. And so from this point through the rest of the program, just if you have a question at any time now, just feel free to raise your hand and we'll do questions. I know you're all being a little shy, but I know you have more questions than me. So Michelle Leisure is our treasurer, and she's going to come up and talk about our financial situation. And it's no granite stock, it's being good news. Yeah. To make the living great. So, financial. So, the thing is we are 50%, and thanks to everyone, we are at 50% funds raised. See, we also have this on our website. I mean, we have, a measure to say where we are with funds raised. Obviously, we have no award of public funding, and that was solidified last night. So, one thing about me is I'm a numbers person, I'm saying it a little bigger, I'm a numbers person, and I'm also optimistic. Numbers, they speak for themselves, optimistic, and everybody wakes up to be the best version of themselves today. And if you think that way, for everybody you meet, all in actions, it works. So I thought that when the bid came in from the other company that the board reached out to, our people reached out to, that it was the same amount that we were saying that we needed for funding. That it was going to be a done deal, that we would go back to the public partnership, and it would be funded. So obviously heartwarming. Again, the numbers first, the numbers are the same. To me, it also screams that we are efficient. There is no, it is question of efficiency. I don't know what it is, and we haven't received it. But the numbers that came in from the competitor were the same as ours. So very confused about what's going on right now, as I think a lot of us are. But the good news is we have a lot of support. We thank everybody. That's for sure. We can do it with everybody. So donations so far are, so we're looking for 1.2 donations. We've got 254 that have still come in from state aid that gets paid out quarterly, so that helps us. And we have US compliance and fees revenue. Now, our expenditures, the biggest one, I always say this every time we have these meetings, our number one asset is not the books, it's not the databases, it is the people here. And everybody who walks through these stores knows that these people are fantastic. They've gone through a lot in the past few years. So our primary expenditure are the people which are the public resource. We've got some Wilson related, I think all of that comes from state funding. That is spent there. County building maintenance, as you all know, we got, we have to fund our own county maintenance. That kind of came in before everything else. But has 68,000 for county maintenance. And then we have some other, miscellaneous expenses. But that's again where we are. If you want to know it, anything else? The next slide is a state fund. So the next slide is state fund. Okay. Yeah, so this is the use of the green state aid. So again, 76% of it goes to the books and library materials. For many systems, state aid is the only funding source for materials. 2% are salaries for professional libraries. You have to have them, we can't use that money unless there's certain requirements that fall kind of Virginia state aid. So one, how did they have M&M hours? We've got how many people work now? Four people work on staff with analysis. Fabulous. 12% goes to equipment, including computers, furniture, automation systems, etc. Take a look. Good. The penny budgets and financials. Wait. Yes. I actually been watching about the amount of funds I could use. Okay, the amount of funds, yeah. So the amount of cash to the microphone. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I actually had a question about the endowment fund, and I just wanted to see if that was going to be discussed later or shut down.
That's now.
Okay, so I'd like to know why the endowment fund can't be used for expenses.
Okay, the endowment fund it's a fund for you have, your biggest $1 million fund. But what we also know is that the state funding, along with the utility funding that we've always relied on in the past, is still not enough to cover what we do here. And we don't want to, we do go from just a normal, hours library to a great library. We want a great library here. So the endowment fund has been, there's rules that go on with creating an endowment fund. But we are allowed to pull 3% of that interest every year and put it into our operating expenses. So the reason we like it at the level that it is, which is a little bit right now, is that when you can pull that 3%, that 3% does make a difference. Still our services. Now, we raised, you can see 57%. So we raised about 700,000 so far. So we do expect to get through March. We're going to hopefully through April with what we're calling the emergency donor fund. That is different than the endowment fund. The emergency donor fund has been funded over 700,000. That keeps us from having to use the endowment. Like I said, I was optimistic. I think we're all optimistic and hoping that we would get some county funding. We may need to, we will meet with your financial, person, to kind of understand what we can do next year if we have to get it. We will most likely have to go into that endowment fund. But the more we bring down the endowment fund, remember, that's going to have years of impact because we won't get that interest that we usually get. So that's what we stand. It's not that meaningful. If you don't get any funding, what donor funding, if you don't get the donor funding, can you access more than 3% of the town? And we'll have to. We want to work with the, and that's came down and change the rules and not change the rules, so to speak, but change the mission. That endowment fund was, we created that for a long-term, longevity. Yeah, for long term. Yeah, so you 401k, you don't want to get into it. It's better, things happen. Yeah, we don't want to get into it because we want to be here forever and that helps us. Any on it, it helps us. That's the nice job here.
Yeah, if I could,
Yeah, so we more.
the endowment fund too is there for the long-term future of the library. And you want to do everything you can not to touch it. You want it to grow. We would love a day to come where maybe we don't have to ask the taxpayers to fund us. But we're far from there, and if we have to dip into that, that's never going to happen. So it's our safety net. It's, if we grow it, it can be so much more than that. And the way that this donor emergency fund has grown, I feel as though we have a really good chance of reaching the goal we need to reach for FY '26 to fund through that issue. There will be most likely some national press going out this week about the defunding, the complete defunding of the library. And when we get international, that does start to pick up donations.
And we can't stress enough how much you get because,
Oh my gosh, it's been unbelievable.
it's heartwarming, it's emotionally touched, it's great, it's fabulous. And will be severe cuts in federal funding on this budget, I guess, library and museum services. Will that affect state funding? I can talk about that as of right now, but you're talking about MLS. That will not affect us. We do not get that money directly, that goes to the library person. So, but as of right now, we don't see any changes to that. And one comment I noticed, last week, last year, they had the sign saying we deposited and the QR code. And I think that would be great to send to friends on Facebook because a lot of the people I know around the country, they said, and I'm reading about, what's going on. I weren't used to seeing what's going on. And I get them to respond, say, what are you talking about? So I haven't done it yet, but if I put that sign on Facebook, can someone use a QR code, like? Yeah, you should be too, as well as I also recommend we do have, especially if they're getting more information out, we have something called a Substack. If you go on our website and hit subscribe, the link we have is subscribe. If you share that link, it will take them to our Substack that has a lot of information over what's going on. Hey, I think the line's still working. So, any other questions on the funding or? And again, right now, I have to also comment on the work that I have used, that she has scrutinized and scrubbed our finances to get them down to, to funds to get them down to them. So, and our staff and the staff here is taking our response, we don't have a cleaning service status. We have really, I mean, that in the staff really make sessions and are doing the best we can to take this, the great places in the chest.
How much did you receive from the county last year? Buzz,
1,025,000, that's
where did that go this year?
24. We had it.
Where did they put it stuff?
They have put it to, I'm not gonna, where they put it to teachers, to the places by third, like by sports, you can't see it, yes. So I can say, and it's long, as a website, but it can be fixed. It can be, well, I would like to hear how, and the problem, what here to fix. It's the fails. Yeah, about what the fit. Or the voting starts as a big point. I mean, more ridiculous. But something that's student or something want to go on it. I did keep down. Who it is we need to talk to, who it is we need to quit, supporting and businesses and the company like this week we're not such communities. Well, see, I was like, I'm like, I'm not hearing anything. We have not had conversations. It's not working just as well because we don't. I'm being direct. My email as Samuel's treasurer is out on the website. I have received 0 emails, inquiries from any elected officials asking for it. So I'm where work is as well. And that heard to say, yeah.
I'm speaking as a private citizen. The library cannot be involved in political things. My name is Samantha Good, I'm the president of the State St. Louis Library PAC. Our candidates will find money come January when they get in office. So come out and vote. We will have a booth there. We will tell you to vote for it. Please.
We got the cry when I fucked it. Okay. You did the fire. Can you talk this?
Do you have a question for Michelle?
What?
One misconception that we heard last night was that we chose this path. And I would like to state emphatically that this is not the path we chose. This is the path that was foisted upon us and dictated to us. It is only because of all of your insistence and your kindness and your donations that this library managed to stay open starting July 1. And we're finding very hard to keep the doors open and provide excellent services and the quality that this county deserves and that you're used to. But we've had a public-private partnership for over 50 years. And we need to get back to that. That's our goal. We state that in every single forum and every single email and every turn that we've reached out to the supervisor. We want the public-private partnership. We're willing to talk and negotiate, but make it clear that we've had no communication. So that needs to be stated very clearly. Is you have another prevent.
I think they're able to tell right in front of how living this town and how good she makes straight. But I usually like this. And I know that there are the animal cross-county support of the different cities. So, where else do you think besides every mountain for even highway to this library? Because I'm not the you haven't explained it.
We have it around the annex. Oh, my president, she is the library.
We have the science right from us right now about Madison Fire Department's select board issues to like if they can figure that out, we should be able to learn that I'm running out of that ahead. Because
if you want to charge me for running my card, I'm not kidding. So if you're not here, I'm gonna get 25 miles one way. It wasn't yet on. So one of the great things about being a public library, you do offer free services in order to be public. So I think, so what we do offer is to the public library, we do get a lot of people from outside the county would use your service and vice versa. So if you have a library card with us, you can get one family, you get with one with Shenandoah County and their system. Anybody that we are sharing words with, so to speak, you can. Everybody needs each other's resources. As far as ways to support, please get the information out, the word out to other people. And if you know anybody who would be willing to donate, please do so. Yeah, I guess one more question, one thought. That's why we're here. You know, I see some of the donations have come in from 34 states, 36 states across the country. So when the news gets spread on a national level, we're extremely grateful because people who are going through similar causes with their own personal libraries understand the challenges and you know, be it $10, $25. We have 36 states across the country that have reached out and supported the library on some level. And so that's pretty remarkable. Yeah, it is. There's sad souls on my side. Isn't it sad though that all these states in the USA get to see how Warren County is screwed up? I personally don't know of any other library across the country that was completely funded by their county supervisors and is not providing a library for instance. I'm a budget. So I will say that. All right. To sort of answer the question up there about the other people around here that support us. So not this weekend, but next weekend is the Friends of Students Library book sale. We filled this whole room. And we've had people coming from all over the state. We have people from West Virginia, Northern Virginia, all over the place. So it's a fun way to come out and meet all the people because while they won't let us pay for our card, they will let you buy books there, which is fun and more.
Alex, I think you got one other thing that people need to know here is that Melanie and the board of trustees and the library staff have gone to every single board of supervisors meeting and had to listen to the lies every meeting. They said it was about fiscal responsibility, but they didn't say anything what was the problem. They said it was about saving money. Then they were going to sign a contract with a company that was going to give us a second-rate library for more money. Then they said it was about, well, the people wanted that. And then we voted no. In the primaries, we wanted someone who was going to support our library. Well, it couldn't be about that, but they keep bringing up the same issues. And we're not going to let them get away. There's 36 states that are providing funds. I'm just curious. Number one about marketing. Who's your marketing person? Because I joined the library a couple months ago and found their services were wonderful. I mean, being super sick with some color. So I just know the marketing. And they've never sold out to weeds. They didn't have, sports figures, popular people. They didn't have a good marketing plan. So that's the first thing about marketing. If people know, if people give. The other thing I'd ask is that if people across the country are giving money, why not do a GoFundMe page if it's not already there? And is it prohibited? And who's your legal counsel?
It's something you check with legal counsel. we will have to check.
The majority of the resource that could be.
Yes, right, yeah, and right now we do have our donation page on our website, which we tend to try to draw people more to just because it limits the amount of places that the different amount of like, institution of where you should donate to first. And then links directly takes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Hayes. I'm the development administrator here. So if you do have any questions about making a donation, or if you have any marketing ideas, fundraising ideas that you haven't seen from us yet, please come to me after this. I brought my cards. I can give you one of my cards. I'm always willing to talk with people and I love sharing ideas. And again, thank you so much for everyone. I'm sure many of you in this room have donated to the library multiple times. And, you know, surprisingly, we don't necessarily like to ask for money so much, but it's kind of necessary at this point. And we are glad that, you know, people from all over are helping us because that takes some of the channels you own, but we sincerely appreciate it, and you don't ever believe how happy we get every time we check in the mail because it's another day, the door is open, so thank
Goodness. Need to get working. Thanks.
One of my other hats is on the development committee working on some Amy. And one of the things that we took a look at earlier this year was consistent with our role in engaging in the community and with development. We established a business ownership program. So that if you're part of a small business or a small business owner and you'd like to be a business sponsor working in partnership with us, you can talk to Amy or talk to me or Aaron, and we'll be happy to explain this program is tailored to your needs. My wife and I operate a bed and breakfast now involved in we have a prototype what the partnership would be. And we work collaboratively with Aaron to define what our partnership would be, which events were consistent with our company's mission, our purpose for being, they were also for the library, both financially and from a board perspective. So if you're interested in that, there's another avenue for giving and sustaining the library's operations. Amy's an expert, Aaron's an expert, and I'll help Rick facilitate.
Yes, my name is Richard Lucier, and one thing I'd like to see about library consider is a legacy planning type training session for the consumer to understand. Just on a lifelong, my career is life insurance and so on. I've been here 50 plus years. And I can tell you that there are segments in financial planning that you can do that are just untouched, or they're not well understood. One of those, just as an example, is life insurance. Life insurance can be transferred and donated, and you can get substantial tax deductions and how you do it. And it can be done with new or old or existing line-ups. So if you're looking for ways to get the libraries to get immediate access, in some cases, money, that's one way. Another way is that you want to leave a legacy, you can do it, and you can amplify money significantly, obviously, by taking a little bit of money and breaking it and turning it into a very large donation coming to the library. I think that's the stuff actually.
Thank you for bringing that up. This is why we love our patients. We have a legacy plan. We have documents. Of course, life insurance is on that. It's just getting the word out to people, and so that's in its early stages of trying to let people know that they can make a legacy gift. Make gifts in their need and their families. I appreciate that. It's a good reminder for the United States. So I don't know too much about what's happening, but I'm going to speak to what you guys said tonight. I just want to be clear. It was Eddie passed the library prior to the funding. during that action. We had no communication. Well, yes, they as and a public meeting. Mr. Jameson sat up on the dais and said the way that we took from the table with that is that we were willing to allow them to basically control the library through the board and the library board. We would have the report to them, which we have repeatedly said we cannot do because it threatens our 501c3 status. He said that we would need to roll back our articles of incorporation to make the county the beneficiary of all our assets should we dissolve. We're not about to do that. There were four things. The latest one this month in the boards, which they never asked for. These are things that I asked for, and they're in the family. Those were all the other one was they were mad because they said we refused their FOIA requests. We never refused their FOIA requests. We asked them to submit them legally. And we provided, the FOIA requests were enormous. And you're talking at least 1,000 pages of data I would have had to produce. And, boxes all over the place, going back 25 years in some cases. And so the price tag was around 10 grand. We showed it to a FOIA expert and he said, yeah, seems about right. And they dropped it. They never came back to us. All they did was complain about it since. They didn't want to pay money. And none of them have to file a FOIA request as a citizen of the Commonwealth, not as a county government. And they had filed it as a county government. And none of them wanted to put the John Hancock on these things because then they became financially responsible. So, it's all been incredibly disingenuous and less than forthright in how they've flown in. But we're not willing to surrender what makes this library so special and have them take control of policy. Once they take control of policy, you're going to see books get down. And you're going to see all kinds of nasty things that we don't want our legacy to be. But as far as actually, yes,
You trying to wrap up?
but as far as actual communication, we didn't. These are things that are stated from the dais and not communicated to us or requested in us on letterhead or in any official way that you would, in any official capacity, that you would expect the partner to contact you and say, we would like to see this happen and have dialogue about it. And that was what I'm saying, that there was no communication. There are things out there floating around that they didn't like to see happen, but they happened. That's too bad. There's no actual request made. We did submit a draft MOA in hopes that we made multiple times in hopes that we could come to the table so that the discussion next night had been said, it fell apart at the debate stage. It's like debate. I didn't even talk to the they can debate it, but we haven't even had a chance to talk to one another. So there's a lot floating around, Ellen, that you have to know the full story. Yes, sir. You have a question back there.
Well, yeah, I just was going to kind of contribute to that. As going back to 2023, when there was the initial clean up Samuel's library effort, and we thought that when crisis was over, if the supervisors had backed out at that point. There was even some talk about it. I had somebody reached out to me, there was gonna be a documentary, and there was gonna be this happy ending to this documentary, something that's gonna make. And then it turned out that that was just the beginning of the nightmare, and new supervisors got onto the board. And lately, I've been following the drama unfold from a distance, because I've been out in the area most of the time for work, thanks to the return to work order and the fact that I work at Tucson River in Maryland. But I have been watching, I watched the September 2nd board meeting, and everyone spoke, was, very passionate, and I think it does come through to, impartial observers that the board is being, that the supervisors are being pig-headed. I think that does come through. The one thing I would suggest is that the Christendom College stuff, probably that was a time most place miss, because I get it, it's a very conservative institution, and there are people in the orbit of the college that might have been involved initially. But there's lots of closed-minded Protestants too. And I'm a Jew, there's lots of closed-minded Jews. It's not just Catholics, right? So I think that's probably not a winning argument, is all I would suggest. So, and who cares about their wastewater? I mean, in light of the library, right? It's not relevant to the library discussion. So I was just gonna kind of throw that out there, but I watched people get up who are not public speakers, nervous, but will on fight and have a lot of passion, and I'm really proud of the community. And so we'll see what happens, we'll see what their next move is. But I was afraid they were going to take the library to court there for a while. I don't think that, I think their whole open meetings act, I'm an attorney. I think their open meetings argument is a spurious argument. It's just, taking the mold of accuse somebody of something and then take some, draconian action toward them. And that seems to be acceptable these days. Anyway, I'm really proud of everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Dr. As I wander to this way, without
I do want to echo a little bit of what Ms. Johnson just said. It does come down to a lot of people are vilifying the Catholic community. We have wonderful Catholic supporters, fabulous users of the library, the Catholic members who are Catholic, and this is a small neighborhood that's causing us trouble. The majority of the Catholics in this community are good, decent people. And God.
Along the lines of the past couple of meetings, will there be any informal respect from the library about Jane's comments, his presentations? There was so much there that was just jaw-dropping.
I'll say that it's basically the same thing that it started in January of 24, is that debriefs, and it hasn't often been. We've addressed, if you go back and look at all the warrants, we've addressed all of those points. The numbers are skewed, the numbers are inaccurate. The 94% is coming from a place called 90 that includes state and federal and county and the grants and donations. So, and he's claiming that's public money, and that's disingenuous. The county gave us the last term 68%, and that's strictly operating. The rest we made out with state money, a little bit of federal money, donations, fundraising, that kind of thing. So it's the same over and over again. And it would take us all night to go point by point. And I know we're all tired. We just all want this to be over. But ask us your questions if you have anything direct. And go back and look at the other forms that we've done because we covered FOIA. In May, we had all 10 FOIA requests of them involved. We covered it on representation by each multiple board members and all of the qualifications. So I can do that. I have it, but we have to close the library. I just.
That's, I think, if I could jump in and just address it. If you have a look at this, how the statement of Michigan's structure. It's been during the county supervisor individual report, or it's been during a work session, or it's in public comment, or it's been at the closing comments. And so as Melody brings up, we've been in dialogue. We've been seeking dialogue. But Mr. Jameson takes advantage of being able to speak uninterrupted and unchallenged. And in fact, when members of the audience take an objection, it's definitely been shut down and removed. So you have to look at the tactics that are being employed there for him to get his message out, which is not a formal communication to us. It's more of a public statement is that no one is able to rebut.
Right, that's why it's so great to be interested in CPP. I just have to stick to this. I get a little the 990 issue where Mr. Jameson talks about 95% is public funded. The number on the 2023 990 for income is $1,953,994. They gave us $1,024,000. How is that 95%? Help me understand. This is a year where we got the Mellon grant. We had a lot of fabulous donations because of the book banning issue. It's more than disingenuous. It's either an outright attempt to not be honest about the numbers, or he doesn't understand how green light on leaves. That could be true. And either one is best. So what gets thrown around are things like transparency and accountability. I just want to talk a little bit about that. So we are non-profit, that's council, non-profits. We live by ethical principles, transparency, and accountability. So what does that mean? That means that we, Joan runs our strategic planning committee. We stick by our mission and our values. We protect patron privacy. We have integrity, honesty, and forthrightness. As you can see from our discussion tonight, we have respect and compassion for our patrons, donors. We just finished a board training where all of our board members got trained on what it means to be a trustee and what is the do's and the don'ts. Signed that at a conflict of interest policy. And then part of what we must do is adhere to local, state, and federal laws. It's an IRS station that we're a 501c3, and that comes with its own set of rules. And so part of that is that we have to make available for public inspection annual returns, financial data, all of that through our website. And then you report to GuideStar, the 990 goes to GuideStar, and it makes complete disclosure. You get a platinum level designation that we're at the platinum level with GuideStar. All of that meaning is that we are completely transparent. So that if there's anything that you're looking for, it's gonna be on our website. And if you can't find it on our website, then you come in here and ask us. So accountability, who holds us accountable? So I think that these terms can get thrown around, but when you look at what the definitions are, we meet and exceed the statements of these definitions at every turn. The state and federal authorities hold us accountable. Warren County Board of Supervisors have been holding us accountable every year through our public-private partnership. They're the ones who control the liquors. We report to them every December with our budget request form. We started in 23, we started to read semi-annual reports that Aaron just gave tonight so that you could see the performance measures and how excellent this library is doing. I'm not sure what beyond that. We have one of their supervisors that sits in voting privileges on our board. And it's all the same information that everybody else gets. And before Cheryl Cullerson was Vicky Cook for 2 years, before her it was Dolores Boots, before her there was John Sayer, Archie Fox. There's always been a county representative on the board with full voting rights. So I ask you, like, how much more does the library need to do to get this accountability question on the table, to get the transparency off the table? And honestly, if you have a suggestion, there isn't any concrete suggestions coming from the board of supervisors as to what they would like to see to make us more transparent, more accountable. IRS governs us. We have to do our taxes and status requires annual reporting. We have to do the 990. All the 990s are up on the digital lights are on the website. The ones that were before digital, the digital world on our in paper copies. All of our audits are on the website. State of Virginia, you saw that where we get state funded. State of Virginia probably has some more strict requirements. There's only certain categories, so you should apply this way, and they want to see that we use it, or you don't get it the following year. We file our statistics, biblio standards, and every year, and so there's information out there that they look for, and they compare the libraries across the state. So there's compliance there. Of course, we're following all the charitable rules filed with the SEC. And then there's the internal board responsibilities. So our trustees are all volunteer. It's a governing body, and we're responsible for our actions. It's a very large board, which is advantageous for us because there's always a wise voice there to analyze experiences that can weigh on different topics. We have a finance and investment committee that looks at our auditors, and we hold our financial information. Every year we have our financial advisor come and talk to us about our down fund and our donor emergency fund, where our assets and how are they doing. Every November, our auditor comes and talks to the board about the status of the audit. And that's a third-party independent group that has no obligation to change the data. They look at all the data and they're very strict, takes many months to compile the data with the help of staff. And last week, the auditors are here, the audit is starting, and we'll find out in November, all of the statistics for that. So we're all caught up, audit's over. And then we have the public stakeholders. So you, the public, keep us accountable. You come to the meetings, you ask your questions. There's always the suggestion box. Aaron's store is open for any feedback. There are forms to fill out if you'd like, books if you have issues. We have policies that are all on the website for everyone. And then the donors and beneficiaries. You're not making donations if you're not happy. So you're holding us accountable with your dollars. Saying, how much, what do we do to be more accountable and to take this off the table? So I seriously want to know. Yeah. You know, how much more transparent can one institution be with a 200-year history, award-winning year after year, and a vibrant community that's engaged in making donations? I don't understand. You know, these are clear definitions to meeting all of these students. So it comes down to trust. So let me try to run this. Maybe get more questions there. Relationships have to be built on trust. Public trust refers to the confidence the public places in individuals, institutions, or governments to act honestly, responsibly, with integrity, and in the public's best interest. A lack of it can undermine the legitimacy and effectiveness of the entities involved, whether it's government or a nonprofit organization. Honestly, you have to be true to your word. You cannot say one thing and do another.
How second of time more clarity. Public claims before the library are aimed at trade or history.
Limit to ones.
So just wanting to respond to a couple of big public comments Chris said today. First of all, some of the libraries I go anywhere, and I agree with it. Well, before we shout library, what corporation is a operating evidence could change, but I don't foresee we're going great. I don't see flood repeat funded shut down any such thing. That's not in can.
So you must be responsible and accountable for your actions. Where's the county's audit? Where are the minutes? We cannot find minutes for many of the commissions and boards that are out there. I went to try to see if I could get to it. I went to try to go to the Warren County Library board. I don't want to take time for this. I went to go to the Warren County Library board, and you have to sign in at accounts. And has anybody tried that? Yes. So you can't view the minutes. You have to have an account or try to sign in. That's not transparency. So what's good for the goose needs to be good for the gander. You know, it's where are the minutes? Why are we signing in to look at minutes? Where are agendas? Integrity. We must be respectful. Disrespect of the public-private partnership. We talked about the debate. There's been no debate available to us, no communication. There's nothing on letterhead when they canceled the maintenance agreement, nothing on letterhead when they canceled the MOA, nothing on letterhead or any announcement that the library services line item was going to be depleted in its entirety. And then no recognition, there's false allegations and no recognition of this institution as being a well-run and award-winning library. There's been a problem created when none existed. And now we're almost heading into 3 years of this. And they know we're all tired of it. And you ask what we can do, we can quit. And not to mention the disrespect that was shown last night to a fellow supervisor. This coach is not deserve her own slide, and her own accusations. And finally, we need to act in the best interest of the public. Time and again, the public is speaking out, but the supervisors are not listening. People see the situation for what it is, with no help from library leadership. We don't need to market anything. We don't speak out in negative ways. You all see it all exactly the way it is. And we all appreciate you and voicing your opinions. Is it really in the public's best interest to fund the library? You pay your taxes, you see the numbers that the library produces, and the services that are provided, what it means to the community. And we have to get back to public-private partnership. I fear we've lost our faith in the current supervisors, and our only option at this point is to vote. Yet, we have a law, voting starts Friday. The election officials have said you don't have to all go on the same day. It doesn't need to be. Yeah, it doesn't need to be over right up the first day. Early voting starts, and I'm an early voting student. The election is on the 4th. Mondays through Friday, 9 to 5, and the lefty, I slip. The last 2 Saturdays, October 25th and November 1st, and 9 to 5. They're closed on Sundays. And Monday, October 13th, here's a link that's straight off of the Warren County election website. We have a display in the hall. It's a little confusing, the election, because there's 4 districts. There's Happy Creek District, and they have their elected supervisors. The other districts, North River, Shenandoah, and the upper part of South River, all have one ballot. But the lower 2 district, precincts in South River have a different ballot because they're voting for, no, it's a different district. It's the delegate. So you all know we're not against it. So we're not here to tell you who to vote for, but get out there and vote, do your research. And it's critical. It's very critical for the life of this county at this particular election. So more questions, but that's it for me. I didn't say it properly going to the library board, right in the minutes, Sunday, and people, I don't know, so it is. I also went back and looked at what they said they were going to meet on Wednesday and Thursday at such and such a time. And I was on the calendar and they end up wait. We have no notice, like, where's their transparency? Yeah, the quality. What? It's just funny how. Did I understand the news today that your county is not publishing in the newspaper, your money and your fees? Well, you can't get to it, isn't? It's very difficult to find it. It's not being published in the newspaper. I don't know. I can't speak to that. Anybody? My county publishes it. Where do they go? They say got Everett County. It is in the newspaper. I'd like to introduce Mr. Dashel, our new county administrator. Maybe he can work. I'll tell you how long he's been here, but is this not the county that had a huge investment problem? That's everybody that works in the state tomorrow at some point needs to present themselves with their name and address for the treasurer's office and to get this fixed. You don't know where your money is? They haven't completed their audit for 22. You haven't had an audit. They haven't present your. Am I wrong? They do look on the website. It's just. This is not good enough. How many people bother to look at, you can't get to the website, if nobody else sees the website, it needs to be in your newspaper letters, that the budget was published into the Northern Virginia Mails. It's almost millions of bucks for what you have out. Okay, 27, no way, yes. Keep it on the shoulders. Yeah. I would just like to know, with the new board of supervisors, how quickly some of these should be unraveled. No, it's okay. So, question, not the supervisor, but I'm told that they are going to be on it for the night.
our command center.
I can answer part of it.
Something to attack. Our candidates are committed to, on their first day, making a motion to install the Warren County Library Board and to rescind the ordinance that created it and to enter into negotiations with Samuels and thoroughly evaluate it to make sure that our candidates are willing to do that. On day one, in January, I think the funding is a lot.
There is funding available to be had.
Deals can be undone.
Our candidates
Are prepared. How quickly could the filing be reinstated? Think about it. I mean, they're prepared to enter negotiations immediately, so it should be quite the course for some years. Like, it's going slowly and we're prepared to wait instead of, getting it so we're not going anywhere. The goal is to get back to the table, to get them away. If there are things that the supervising were looking for, let's sum out in an agreement. And we want to get that again. Sorry. Remember, like our own corporations. No thing. I was curious, do any of the BOS people find the library at all? They didn't know. It was here, and I think this has been in the building much. It was awesome. Sharon was an avid user. Yes, and that's that I could say. Others, it's a private information that I'm not going to speak to, but I do know Cheryl's here regularly if she's not on source. So
That would,
probably. I see here. There's good at night. Any other questions? Would it go please?
yes,
You all are wonderful. We appreciate it so much. You know that we do. Listen, thank you for your time. Please give up the rest in your mind. This place.
that's
Oh,